In front of guests, millionaire woman marries obese man. What he reveals on stage shocks her. The grand ballroom of the Beverly Hills hotel glittered with the soft light of 1,000 crystal chandeliers as 300 of Los Angeles's most influential citizens gathered for what society columnists had dubbed the most intriguing wedding of the decade. The opulent setting, adorned with cascading white orchids and gold accents, provided a backdrop worthy of the bride's considerable fortune and social status. Yet the atmosphere was charged with curiosity and barely concealed speculation about the unconventional union they were witnessing. The bride was Isabella Worthington, a 35-year-old tech mogul whose revolutionary social media platforms had transformed how people connected globally and generated a personal fortune exceeding $2 billion. Isabella's rise from Stanford computer science graduate to Silicon Valley icon had been meteoric, earning her recognition as one of the world's most influential entrepreneurs before she reached 30. Her intelligence, business acumen, and striking beauty had made her one of the most sought-after women in both corporate and social circles. Isabella's romantic history had been the subject of constant media attention, with her relationships to various tech executives, Hollywood actors, and international businessmen regularly featured in celebrity publications. Each of her previous partners had seemed carefully selected to match her status and success accomplished. Attractive men who enhanced her public image, while providing appropriate companionship for someone of her prominence and sophistication, which made her choice of groom all the more shocking to everyone who knew her. Standing beside Isabella at the altar was Harold Harry Blackwood, a 42-year-old man whose appearance seemed completely incongruous with the glamorous setting and distinguished guest list. Harry weighed nearly 400 pounds, his obesity so severe that he required a specially constructed chair during the ceremony and moved with the careful deliberation of someone for whom physical activity was challenging and exhausting. Harry's background, as understood by Isabella's family and social circle, was as unremarkable as his appearance was unexpected. He claimed to work as a freelance computer programmer, living in a modest apartment in Burbank, and supporting himself through various technical consulting projects. His wardrobe consisted entirely of basic clothing from discount retailers, and his social skills seemed limited to awkward small talk about technology and science fiction movies. The story of how Isabella and Harry had met was as puzzling as their relationship itself. According to Isabella, they had encountered each other in an online gaming community where Harry's intelligence and humor had impressed her during late-night gaming sessions that provided her with relief from the pressures of running her business empire. Their virtual friendship had gradually evolved into something more meaningful, leading to real-world meetings and eventually to the relationship that had culminated in this lavish wedding ceremony. Isabella's explanation of her feelings for Harry had done little to convince her skeptical family and friends. She described him as the most genuinely kind and intellectually stimulating person she had ever met, someone who valued her for her mind and character rather than her wealth and status. She claimed that Harry's lack of interest in her money and fame had been refreshing after years of relationships with men who seemed more attracted to her success than to her as a person. However, the whispered conversations among wedding guests revealed widespread speculation about Isabella's true motivations for marrying Harry. Many assumed that the relationship was motivated by tax advantages, business considerations, or perhaps a publicity stunt designed to generate attention for her companies. Others theorized that Harry possessed some hidden talent or secret that made him valuable to Isabella beyond what was apparent from his unremarkable appearance and circumstances. The most cynical observers suggested that Isabella's choice represented a form of rebellion against the expectations and pressures of her privileged world, or perhaps an attempt to prove her independence from social conventions by marrying someone so obviously inappropriate for a woman of her status. Some even speculated that the marriage was temporary, designed to serve some specific purpose, before being quietly dissolved through divorce. Harry's behavior during the wedding preparations and ceremony had done little to dispel the mystery surrounding their relationship. He seemed genuinely overwhelmed by the attention and luxury surrounding the event, often appearing uncomfortable with the formal protocols and social interactions that were second nature to Isabella and her guests. His obvious nervousness and social awkwardness only reinforced the perception that he was out of place in this rarefied environment. Yet there were moments during the ceremony when Harry's intelligence and depth of feeling became apparent to observant guests. His responses during the religious portions of the service demonstrated familiarity with literature and philosophy that suggested education beyond what his claimed background would indicate. His obvious love and admiration for Isabella seemed genuine and profound, creating an emotional authenticity that was difficult to fake or dismiss. Isabella's demeanor throughout the wedding was that of a woman genuinely happy with her choice. Despite the obvious disapproval and confusion of many guests, she treated Harry with consistent kindness and respect, never showing embarrassment about his appearance or behavior. Her interactions with him revealed a comfort and intimacy that suggested their relationship was based on genuine compatibility rather than convenience or calculation. The wedding ceremony itself proceeded without incident, though the contrast between the bride and groom created a visual spectacle that many guests found difficult to ignore. Isabella, wearing a custom-designed gown that had cost more than most people's annual salaries, looked radiant and confident. Harry, in a specially tailored tuxedo that attempted to flatter his considerable bulk, appeared nervous but determined. As he pledged his love and commitment to his remarkable bride, the exchange of vows was notable for its sincerity and emotional depth, with both Isabella and Harry speaking from prepared texts that revealed the genuine affection and respect they felt for each other. Isabella's words emphasized Harry's intelligence, kindness, and ability to see beyond the superficial aspects of wealth and status to appreciate authentic human qualities. Harry's vows, delivered in a voice that shook with emotion, promised to support Isabella's continued success while providing her with the unconditional love and acceptance she had been seeking throughout her accomplished but often lonely life. As the ceremony concluded and the newlyweds were pronounced husband and wife, the assembled guests offered polite applause that masked their continued bewilderment about what they had just witnessed. The reception that followed promised to be equally intriguing, as 300 of Los Angeles' most sophisticated citizens attempted to navigate social interactions with a groom who seemed to have nothing in common with anyone else in attendance. Reception venue had been transformed into an elegant dining space that reflected Isabella's impeccable taste and unlimited budget. Each table was set with fine china, crystal glasses, and silverware that represented more wealth than many families would see in a lifetime. The menu, prepared by celebrity chefs, offered cuisine that demonstrated both sophistication and international influence, designed to impress even the most discerning palates among the distinguished guest list. Harry's discomfort with the formal atmosphere was evident as he navigated the receiving line and attempted to make conversation with guests who clearly struggled to find common ground with him. His responses to polite inquiries about his background and interests were brief and awkward, reinforcing the perception that he was intellectually and socially outmatched by the company. He was now expected to keep as Isabella's husband. As the evening progressed through dinner and the traditional wedding toasts, the atmosphere remained charged with curiosity and speculation about the true nature of Isabella and Harry's relationship. Guests exchanged meaningful glances and whispered comments, all wondering when someone would have the courage to directly address the obvious questions that everyone was thinking, but no one was willing to voice publicly. It was during the dessert course, as the evening was winding toward its conclusion, that Harry surprised everyone by standing and requesting the microphone from the master of ceremonies. His announcement that he wished to make a special presentation to his new wife created a moment of anticipation and concern among the guests, many of whom worried that his speech might prove embarrassing or inappropriate for such a sophisticated gathering. As Harry made his way to the small stage that had been set up for the evening's entertainment, his obvious nervousness was palpable throughout the ballroom. The 300 guests fell into complete silence, their attention focused entirely on this unlikely figure who was about to address them. Isabella watched from her seat with an expression of curiosity mixed with concern, clearly uncertain about what her new husband intended to reveal to their distinguished audience. Harry's positioning at the microphone created a moment of dramatic tension that seemed to freeze the entire celebration. The contrast between his humble appearance and the elegant setting emphasized the extraordinary nature of whatever revelation he was about to make. The silence in the ballroom was so complete that the only sounds were the distant noise of Los Angeles traffic and the soft clinking of crystal glasses as nervous guests set down their drinks to focus entirely on Harry's upcoming speech. Harry stood at the microphone for several long moments, his hands visibly trembling as he gathered the courage to speak. The weight of 300 expectant faces focused on him seemed almost overwhelming, and several guests began to worry that he might be too nervous to deliver whatever message he had intended to share. Isabella watched with growing concern, ready to intervene if her new husband needed support or rescue from the attention he had voluntarily attracted. When Harry finally began to speak, his voice was quiet but steady, carrying a sincerity and emotional depth that immediately captured everyone's attention. He began by thanking the guests for attending their wedding and acknowledging that he knew many of them had questions about his relationship with Isabella and his place in her sophisticated world. His words demonstrated a self-awareness about the speculation surrounding their union that surprised many guests who had assumed he was oblivious to their whispered conversations and skeptical glances. Harry's revelation began with an explanation of his true identity and the elaborate deception he had maintained throughout his relationship with Isabella. The man she had married, believing him to be a struggling computer programmer named Harry Blackwood, was actually Dr. Harold Blackwood III, one of the world's leading experts in artificial intelligence and quantum computing, whose groundbreaking research had revolutionized multiple industries and generated patents worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The shocked silence that greeted this announcement deepened as Harry continued to reveal the full scope of his deception. His obesity, which had been the most obvious and puzzling aspect of his appearance, was the result of a deliberate transformation he had undergone 3 years earlier as part of an elaborate social experiment designed to study how physical appearance affected people's perceptions of intelligence, worth, and social value. Harry explained that his research into human behavioral patterns had led him to question fundamental assumptions about how society judged and valued individuals. As a naturally thin and conventionally attractive man who had always been treated with respect and admiration, he had wondered whether his professional success and social acceptance were based on his actual abilities or simply on favorable first impressions created by his appearance. To test this hypothesis, Harry had deliberately gained over 200 pounds through carefully controlled dietary changes while simultaneously adopting the persona of an unremarkable computer programmer with limited social skills and modest ambitions. His goal had been to experience life as someone who was judged negatively based on appearance, allowing him to study firsthand how obesity affected social interactions, professional opportunities, and romantic possibilities. The methodology behind Harry's transformation was as sophisticated as any academic research project. He had documented every aspect of his experience, recording how differently people treated him as an obese man compared to his previous life as an attractive and successful scientist. His findings had confirmed his hypothesis that physical appearance profoundly influenced how others perceived intelligence, competence, and social value. often overriding actual evidence of ability or character. Harry's explanation of how he had met Isabella added another layer of complexity to his revelation. Their encounter in the online gaming community had been genuine, but Harry had been deliberately seeking relationships that developed without physical appearance as a factor. He had wanted to find someone who could appreciate his intelligence and personality before being influenced by visual impressions, whether positive or negative. What Harry had discovered in Isabella was someone whose own intelligence and character attracted him beyond the superficial aspects of wealth and beauty that typically drew people to her. Their online friendship had evolved into genuine emotional connection based on shared interests, compatible personalities, and mutual respect for each other's minds. When they had finally met in person, Isabella's acceptance of his physical appearance had convinced him that she was someone who valued authentic human qualities over social expectations. However, Harry's most shocking revelation was still to come. As he looked directly at Isabella, his voice breaking with emotion, he explained that his decision to marry her while maintaining his deception had been motivated by a final test of their relationship's authenticity. He had needed to know whether her love for him was genuine or whether it was influenced by pity, curiosity, or some other motivation that had nothing to do with authentic affection. The cruelty of Harry's deception became apparent as he revealed that throughout their courtship and engagement, he had been carefully observing Isabella's behavior for signs that her feelings might not be genuine. He had documented her interactions with him, analyzed her responses to various situations, and even secretly recorded some of their conversations as part of his research into human relationships and social behavior. Isabella's reaction to these revelations was visible to everyone in the ballroom. The color drained from her face as she processed the implications of what Harry was telling her and their guests. The man she had married, believing she knew and loved, was not only someone completely different from who he had claimed to be, but someone who had been studying and documenting her like a laboratory subject throughout their entire relationship. Harry's continuation of his revelation made the situation even more devastating. He explained that his research had confirmed his hypotheses about social behavior and relationship dynamics, providing him with data that would contribute to groundbreaking publications about human psychology and social interaction. Isabella's genuine love and acceptance of him in his obese persona had proved that authentic emotional connection could transcend physical appearance, validating theories he had been developing about the nature of human attraction and compatibility. But Harry's final revelation transformed the entire narrative once again. As tears began to flow down his face, he explained that somewhere during his elaborate experiment, his feelings for Isabella had become completely genuine. What had begun as a research project had evolved into the most authentic and meaningful relationship he had ever experienced. His love for her was real, despite the deceptive circumstances in which it had developed. Harry's announcement that he intended to return to his normal weight and resume his identity as a respected scientist was accompanied by his acknowledgement that Isabella had every right to feel betrayed and manipulated by his deception. He had revealed his true identity not because his experiment was complete, but because his love for her had made it impossible to continue living a lie, even though the truth might destroy their relationship. The emotional climax of Harry's revelation came when he publicly apologized to Isabella for the deception and manipulation, acknowledging that his treatment of her had been cruel and selfish, regardless of his scientific motivations. He offered to annul their marriage immediately if she felt that his deception had invalidated their vows, promising to disappear from her life completely if that was what she needed to heal from the betrayal he had inflicted. Isabella's response to Harry's revelation created the most emotionally charged moment of the evening. After several minutes of stunned silence, she stood and walked to the stage, her expression unreadable as she approached the microphone. The assembled guests held their breath, wondering whether they were about to witness forgiveness, condemnation, or something else entirely. Isabella's words, when she finally spoke, revealed a depth of character and emotional intelligence that impressed even those who had known her for years. She acknowledged the pain and betrayal she felt upon learning about Harry's deception, but she also recognized the genuine love and remorse in his revelation. Her response demonstrated her ability to see beyond the immediate hurt to understand the complex motivations and emotions that had led to this extraordinary situation. The resolution of the evening came when Isabella announced her decision to give their marriage a chance, contingent on Harry's commitment to complete honesty and transparency. Going forward, she explained that while his methods had been cruel and manipulative, his core assessment of their compatibility and genuine affection had been accurate. She was willing to rebuild their relationship on a foundation of truth, but only if he was prepared to earn back her trust through consistent integrity and respect. Harry's transformation back to his natural appearance occurred over the following months, supervised by medical professionals and documented as part of his research. His return to the scientific community was accompanied by the publication of groundbreaking studies on social perception and human relationships that established him as one of the world's leading experts on behavioral psychology. The story concluded 1 year later, with Isabella and Harry renewing their vows in a private ceremony attended only by close family members. Their relationship had survived the revelation and grown stronger through the process of rebuilding trust and establishing genuine intimacy based on complete honesty. Harry's research had contributed to important advances in understanding human behavior, while Isabella had discovered reserves of forgiveness and emotional strength she hadn't known she possessed. Their marriage became a testament to the possibility of love transcending deception and manipulation when both partners were committed to growth, honesty, and mutual respect. The shocking revelation that had threatened to destroy their relationship had ultimately strengthened it by forcing them to build their connection on authentic truth rather than comfortable illusions.
Thank you for watching this story unfold with us here on M&A The Story Unfolds. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new tale. We'd love to know where you're watching from. Leave a comment below and tell us what part of the world you're joining us from. Your support means everything. See you in the next story.